a town you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
Welcome back to Common Folk. What's up, Andy?
Podcast for the people, by the people.
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of people here.
For the people.
It's always for the people.
And we have some awesome drinks in front of us. Just saying.
So folks can kind of hear. Folks can kind of hear in the background. You might hear a little bit of like live noise
Because we're live.
So I'm gonna let Andy introduce this one. You set this up. What's going on?
Well, we've always been talking about it, and you've done it once where you did a recording at Round the Bend.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, we want to kind of take this show on the road, literally. And a mutual friend, Jeff Mullenix, who we've had on the show a couple of times.
Been on the pod a few times. Yep.
He said, "There's this guy." And there's this company. You're talking about made in Nebraska, made in America. You need to get over here. You need to check these guys out. And you need to talk to my buddy Rich. So that's where we're at here. So, Rich, could you introduce yourself? Tell us about where we're at here. What's going on?
My name is Rich Hagedorn, and I'm one of the owners of Soldier Valley Spirits, where we're at right now. We're a veteran-owned company that every bottle that we sell, we give money back to nonprofit veterans groups all over the country. So we sell right now. We're in 27 states right now.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
How long have you guys been at it?
That was yeah.
Legally 10 years now.
Legally
Okay.
10. Okay, so all right.
Daryl likes that one. We've been doing this for 10 years now. It's funny. You watch these moonshiner shows, and I watch them, and I go, "What's going on here?"
Right?
It's Hollywood, and they're just. I'm like, "What the heck?" But it's a lot of fun. This has been It's been a labor of love here since the beginning. We've been doing this now 10 years. It's neat how the beginning of it, when Jeff Haddon said, "I got this great idea." And I said, "Well, good luck to you. I hope it works out."
Bye.
And then you get roped up in this whole thing, and it's been a neat ride. And the military bases we go to, it's neat. I've been retired now for almost 11 years, so my military career, to going back to military bases and seeing these colonels and generals and different people and talking to them and selling bottles to them at Fort Liberty, North Carolina, or Fort Campbell, where I spent 4 years of my life at, and then saying, "Hey, thank you for your purchase, and by the way, $1 or so is going back to helping a hero, moving vets forward." There's a lot of different nonprofit veterans groups, AMVETS, VFW, DAV, lifetime members of all those. It's just really cool to get out and about and be around soldiers and airmen and all that again.
So help me understand. So what's in a name? So the name of the organization, and for me, for clarity, for myself, and then also for the folks listening, I've heard a bunch of different names down here. So what do we got going on?
When you look at Soldier Valley Spirits, so Soldier, Iowa is the Haddon's family farm. So Soldier, there's an Iowa connection to this.
Oh.
So I'm out and about in Iowa.
I thought us Nebraska people didn't like Iowa people.
Oh, we love each other.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All Midwestern.
It's one love.
It's neat. It's a Soldier Valley out of Soldier, Iowa, the Haddon's family farm, where in the beginning, the water that we were using to cut the product, that is to lower your proof, you could say water it down.
Right.
We're using the sweet well water out of the Haddon's family farm. This is a long time ago. We were doing some really neat things, but that's the Soldier part of it. And then the World War II canteen bottle, it had to have something to do with military. And when Jeff called and said, "I got this great idea with this World War II canteen bottle," and I said, "Well, the chance to get that are slim to none." And he goes, "You know what? I got the patent for the bottle." Or it's in the beginning of the infancy of getting this bottle. And getting the patent for the bottle. And if you look at the bottom of the bottle, our patent number is on the bottom of the bottle.
Really?
And that World War II canteen bottle, here's a vodka or rum right here, it will fit in a canteen cover. So an old World War II canteen bottle. So you're out there in the farm.
Legit, guys.
You're in the farm because it's got the concave back, and us being the military, the canteen bottles are a little bit different now. But this is after the World War II. Like the guys who went into Normandy and Holland and all of that. We have an Omaha Beach bourbon that we're going to talk about too. But it's a neat, iconic bottle that people see it and go, well, sometimes they don't see it. And then they go, holy, that's a canteen bottle.
Right.
And they go, that's really cool. And I said, well, and guess what? It will fit in a canteen cover. And then people laugh and all that. When I'm out and about, like at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, in 6 hours, we sold 132 bottles in 6 hours. The lady behind the counter said, I've never seen anything like that before. And I said, well, we give back to veterans, and I'm a veteran too. I was in the military, and she goes, that was really impressive. But it's the give back. That's why we get on the road. That's what we do. And then we also got Lee Greenwood. I mean, Lee Greenwood, God bless the USA.
Yeah.
I'm a bad singer. But he's so great.
What do you mean? It sounded just like him.
It's pretty close.
It was real close.
Lee Greenwood became part of our company, and he makes nothing off the brand. All that money goes back to helping out veterans. So what better partner to have than somebody like, he goes, I don't want any money for this, just give back to veterans. And I'm like, wow. And he's, 82, 83 years old, but he's a really cool guy.
I didn't realize that. So he's involved with the marketing piece.
So if you look at our bottles and you look at the shirt right here, so Lee Greenwood, he's been part of our company for a couple of years now. But it's his involvement with giving back to veterans, paramount to him, to us. That's what it was all about. And the six on the side, if you see on the side of the bottle,
I see it right here, and then the star above it.
That's kind of our logo. But here's the thing: in the military, how about that? In the infantry, your 12 o'clock position is where the enemy's at, okay?
Okay.
You see, we're a bunch of infantry, guys here. 12 o'clock. Your 6 is what? Your back. We got your 6. So the beginning of this, we got your back, giving back to the AMVETS, VFW, DAV, these are great organizations to help out veterans. That's where it all started.
So the liquor itself, is that you guys are headquartered here outside of Omaha, Nebraska?
We're headquartered here, right here in La Vista. This all started here in this building. We started this. There was a little cabin that was over here way back in the day. Our stills, we were distilling products. I've distilled a lot of rum. We have became pretty big. Okay.
Yeah.
And what happens here is we need people to help us out. Yeah. We've had people from Indiana help us out, in Kentucky, Florida. We have people that it's our recipe, it's our proprietary, that. But we've had people help us out, make our product. One of the neatest things was my dad is 76. His birthday was just a few days ago. Was distilling with my dad. And so his father, John Hagedorn, out of West Point, Nebraska, they did moonshining in the 1920s. So they did. There's a family.
Nice.
So my last name is Hagedorn, out of West Point, Cumming County. So there's a Hagedorn side of the deal with us distilling. So Dad and I were making rum, which is not a product really here. It's a rum. My grandfather was making whiskey. We were doing rum. It was hot water, sugarcane, bananas, and yeast. That was our recipe, and we're distilling. It was neat. Dad's like, "Is that the proof, Richie? Is that the proof?" I said, "Yeah, it's coming off at 174 proof, 174." And we, of course, you watered it down, all that. But we got a great rum recipe. We got a lot of great recipes from the beginning. I love our bourbon, which is 51% corn, 21% rye, 90 proof. That is a great recipe. When I'm out there, I'll sell a ton of bourbon. The vodka. You can't get any better vodka than that, what we have. So we got a good product. We would not be in business as long as we have in the last 10, 11 years if we had garbage. So we got some great products out there.
Well, driving over here, we're talking about a company, and I won't mention them, but, man, everything lined up, right? They had it all going, but the product wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they couldn't last.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you have to hit the nail on the head with this.
That's one of those things. I mean, you can have all the best marketing in the world, you can have all the best intentions in the world, but in the end, if you don't have the product to back it up, then it's it's going to eventually flail out.
Yeah, and you hear a lot of the storytelling, the snazzy.
That's huge.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody will give you. I think they'll give you one shot. Everyone will give you one shot.
Yeah.
But man, if it's not on point, okay, there's your shot.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
So, Rich, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you came up and what your career looked like, and then what eventually led you to this.
So, like I said, I did almost 25 years in the Army, and I retired in 2013. when you leave the military, when you're in charge of a lot of different people, at one time, 200 students, a bunch of senior non-commissioned officers, junior non-commissioned officers, when you're in charge of a lot of different people, and then you're in charge of nothing.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, this is crazy. And then, what do I want to do when I grow up? There's all sorts of people that came out to me, and my background is in leadership. So teaching leadership, and what to do, and there's all sorts of different things that came at me. But one of the things I liked was when Jeff Haddon said, hey, listen, remember when we went to Jack Daniels and met Jimmy Bedford? He was the master distiller. Remember when we went to these places? I want to do this bourbon thing. Will you help me out? And I said, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. And my wife thought I was crazy because there's a lot of friends of mine that were making some really good, I got a college degree, all that good stuff. There were some friends of mine making some great money. But here I am. I was like, you know what? We were going to build this brand, and it's neat to from the beginning to us, getting a state. We're in South Dakota. Holy cow, South Dakota! Oh my gosh, we're in Missouri, and we get these states, and we're going to these places, and it's just you meet people. It's grassroots. I'm at the Mobridge Ice Fishing Tournament last weekend. I'm an ice fisherman. I love that stuff. And so I got more guys who go, Rich, you're my brand. I love your stuff. And I'm like, well, guess what? I got a brand new bottle of this Omaha or whatever. I didn't put it on the table. I got this new brand, and we had some shots and everything. They're like, oh my God, where do I buy this at? I'm like, SoldierValleySpirits.com. But it was just neat to see this whole thing, come into play. Right. But my deal with the military side of it, it's very important to me to give back to veterans. I think that's when you got a great product. The groceries here are good, but you need to have. Hey, listen, we're going to give back. We're at Fort Benning. A lady asked me, what is local to here? Is there something local here in Georgia at Fort Benning, which is now Fort Moore? Is there something local you could give to? I said, well, on the AMVETS VFW DAV side of it, it's national. So, but here in Omaha, we've given to many different nonprofit veterans groups to help out veterans. The best story, this is a neat one, last one when it comes down to giving back to veterans, the World War II Airborne Demonstration Team out of Frederick, Oklahoma. They have the planes, the same planes that drop troops into Normandy or Holland, the C-47s. There's a picture around the corner. I've jumped out of those planes before, but it's a reenactment. It's we had World War II veterans, these guys who put the airborne wings on the gold of the ADT, the Airborne Demonstration Team. I went through airborne school back in '89, but this course here, it's the memory of the greatest generation, the World War II guys who jumped into Holland and Normandy, the 101st, the 82nd Airborne Division. It's just, these guys are out there. I get goosebumps. My hair's standing up here. When we were jumping out of that plane, it was in Oklahoma. But guess what? It almost had that feeling of we were going in. I mean, there was no rifle strapped to your side or anything. We had that feeling of what these guys went through when they dropped into Holland, into Normandy, into these places. I mean, these guys, wow, they're going right into the devil's nest. They're going right into the hellfire of everything with the Germans down there, everything. So it was neat to give back to those guys. And every bottle that we were selling was going back to the Airborne Demonstration Team to help them out with their building, with their planes, with their all of that. And the World War II veterans that were around there, they're all gone now. They were happy that there were people there were businesses, a small business, to help them out.
I love that. And it's connecting people back. Don't forget. This is what allowed you to live this life of luxury or whatever we want to call what we're in right now.
One story, one of the guys I met, and he jumped into Holland and Normandy, great, an old-timer, old guy. He told me, he said, man, he says, so what you did, who were you with in the Army? I was like, I was with the 101st Airborne Division during the first Gulf War. I said, it's a little small thing. Schwarzkopf called us the lightning of the storm. He goes, no. We were all watching, here goes my hair again. All of us World War II guys, this is in 1991, 33 years ago. We were all watching what you were doing. When we found out that the 101st Airborne Division was going to be in that area, we were so happy to watch you guys. And then when Schwarzkopf called you guys the lightning of the storm, and you guys just running through these Iraqis like they were nothing, and because we're the best of the best.
Yeah.
And he goes, I just was so proud of you. And the guy guy gives me a hug, I almost wanted to cry.
Yeah.
I was so touched by this guy, the greatest generation, saying something about my generation, which to me, and if you guys remember your history, it was a 100-hour war. But it was easy for us. It was a great deal. But that was worth everything. It was neat.
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking about something when you said that, and this is kind of like off track a little bit, but still on track. So you talk about Lee Greenwood, and I was thinking about something the other day. How much effect do you think that our music culture has on the effectiveness and the assertiveness and just the overall dominance of the U.S. military compared to every other military out there? Because I feel like we have, and you've been in combat, we have all these like fight songs and just music that jacks us up and just makes your hair stand.
So I remember when
Anything by Toby Keith.
but probably when you get into battle, like a Metallica song just ripping and like
I remember one, but we're all in our chemical suits. Now the deal was Iraqi they were gonna use chemical nerve agent whatever on us, and they did. There was a Sarah nerve agent in the area, but we were all in our chemical suits. I remember we had desert camouflage on, and then we had this woodland green with black and everything. We stood out like sore thumbs. But I remember Thunderstruck. Thunder. So every time I hear Thunderstruck, because one guy had a boom box. And I want to tell you this too, and people could talk about their experiences or whatever. Man, I was never, ever afraid one bit of any of that stuff. It's like, okay, let's get this mission done. We had Chinook helicopters that were picking us up, that were going in, and there was a pretty big deal. I mean, we're 128 miles southeast of Baghdad in the Euphrates River Valley. To us, and listen to that Thunderstruck and all that. It was just like, this is fun. Let's just go. It was another training mission or another mission. Let's get this done. We knew it was going to be quick, and I mean that's what they told us too. They said we actually feel sorry for those guys that we're going against. So
the thing is nobody makes music like the USA, and nobody kicks ass like the USA.
But have we heard anybody else's music?
I've heard
Kid Rock. Kid Rock's got a couple songs out there.
Yeah.
And my wife, we're doing a fish fry for my birthday, and I played it on my playlist. And in the middle of the song, he gets very graphic in that song, whatever. And I remember Joanne's grandparents were like,
That's right.
What was that?
American Badass.
That's it.
Yes.
You could roll with rock, or you could. There you go.
Radio edit.
It rhymes.
It does.
That's it. Radio edit.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a little quick shot.
So that was going to be number 3. So no one makes music like the U.S. No one kicks ass like the U.S. No one makes whiskey and vodka like the U.S. So let's get to it.
There you go.
We are some badasses. I mean, this America. When I was in, this is a good story. When I was in Egypt, I was around a bunch of Egyptians and Syrians and all sorts of people from all over the place, and they're like, "You're very proud. You're super proud of being American." I said, "Yeah, because we're the best." And I said, "Man, you guys in Egypt, well, you guys put some pyramids up, and heck, the only thing you guys are good at right now is making sheets."
Oh,
They do have nice sheets. They are.
So the guy looked at me. He's like, I made a lot of friends over in Egypt.
Sounds like it.
So they laughed and everything. But hey, let's do a quick
let's do
little,
it, man.
Let's do
little
it.
shot.
Okay, what do we got?
All right, so we have.
I tipped mine over a little bit. I'll take this one.
Andy already took one.
Well, the cord hit it. It wasn't me.
Oh, shoot.
This is
Send
a
him
12.
home.
You're doing it. This is a 12-year rye whiskey.
Okay.
12-year rye.
We can share.
Very, very rare. I've had it a whole bunch of times.
Okay.
This is the best of the best. So tell me what you think.
This is your favorite one?
This is my favorite one. 12-year, 99% rye whiskey.
Okay.
We've had this for a long, long time.
Ooh, that's easy.
Oh,
And
isn't
I'm not a huge whiskey bourbon person. I'll drink a lot of beer. some vodka.
You guys, that's
this
a
is
treat.
really
I'll take the rest of
easy.
the second
That
shot here.
rye.
Super easy.
I know a lot of people they can't see it, or maybe you can on this deal. This is funny, but these are communion glasses.
Okay,
are
they looked familiar. I mean, I saw them last Sunday.
We buy these. We buy these at the Christian bookstore. No, but hold on. When you're doing samples, let's say you're pouring your sample. This is perfect at a high V or what have you.
Yeah.
So this is perfect for me. I love it.
So for me, that rye, like at the end, you can definitely get that rye bite, and it's a smooth.
It's so
rye.
smooth, and
I've
it's
had
not like
I've had
a-
a bunch of ryes that are too hot.
Yeah.
That I dig.
Normally, I shiver.
because I lean.
Flashbacks from high school.
Exactly. This is.
I lean towards more of a corn mix.
Oh,
a
you
corn
do.
whiskey
Okay.
than a rye. That one I can dig that.
So
one.
the next one is 51% corn, 21% rye at 90 proof. This is our bourbon. So 51% corn,
okay.
21% rye at 90 proof.
So this is your signature.
That's our bourbon
Wait,
right
this
there.
Is this guy?
Yep. Look right here. Daryl's got one too.
Oh,
He's digging it.
cheers!
Cheers to Daryl.
Daryl.
All right, let's give it a
Cheers, Andy.
put her down.
Daryl's in charge of all the sales here.
Okay.
Wicked smart, great looking, has a face for radio.
I know, Daryl. You should be over
Man, I
here.
wasn't gonna say it.
This is real good too.
Very good.
That is a 6-year bourbon.
Dang.
And now we're going to step it up. We're going to go.
So, real quick, when you say 6 year,
Yeah. What does that mean?
give our
It
listeners
ages
some
for
details.
6 years in the brand new charred number 4 barrel. It is brand spanking
Wait,
new.
so it's a brand new barrel.
Brand new
You
barrel.
don't want barrels from somebody else or
So if you're
used
doing a
ones?
whiskey, let me say about
Yeah.
what makes a bourbon. So President Taft, who was actually President Taft was actually a Supreme Court justice also. So President Taft, he had the Taft resolution to be classified as a bourbon. It has to be 51% corn. It's got to be distilled between 140 and 160 proof. It's got to go into a brand new barrel. It's got to age more than 2 years. It's got to be made in these United States of America. Bourbon can't be made in Canada. Bourbon cannot be made in Scotland. Bourbon can be made right here in Nebraska.
And
Okay.
and does it have the wooden barrels? Does it have to be American wood, like American oak? Can it
Charred, yes, it's sweet white oak. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that goes into it.
And so you said charred number 4 because there's different levels of the inside charring.
Roger. So
Really?
that is a heavy char. And when I saw that happen, and this is neat, ISC in Lebanon, Missouri, here's your barrel. Your barrel's open. It's got the rings on the bottom, and then they close it up. They got the tops on there. When they do the flame in there, it almost looks like a tornado, where the flames go in and everything, and they're putting all this stuff together, and you could see the bung hole, and you could see, that's what it's called, by the way. The
I
bung-
was like,
That's where it came
whoa,
from.
where are we going here?
and you could see the billowing smoke out of that sweet white oak barrel.
Really?
And it's like, it's the best smell.
Yeah.
And then before you
bet.
know it, that sucker's getting filled up with some beautifulness.
And so you can order your barrels at different levels of char.
Yep.
And so you guys go with the number
Oh.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4 is heavy char.
Yep.
And,
okay.
and we were in the back getting our equipment out, and we saw those barrels on the racks. That's what's going on. Those are aging.
So those are aging. A lot of those are a lot of whiskeys. A lot of them, they had bourbon to start off. You guys know where this is going, right?
Yes.
You got your bourbon. Then can it be called bourbon again if you refill the barrel? No. It's got to be brand new. To be classified as a bourbon, that barrel's got to be brand new. So now they refill it, it becomes a whiskey.
That's right. Okay,
Or
we have talked about this.
some people do a rum. You know, we do an amber rum. You guys, this is a great story too. We do an amber rum. The amber rum that we use.
Wait, is that what I have in here?
What drink was that?
Oh, something beach.
I will get you. I'll get you.
I think I want to be on a beach right now. It's so cold.
I'll get you some samples, but this is neat. I did a deal at Nebraska Furniture Mart about 3 weeks ago. We did over 500 9-ounce, I can't even believe I'm saying this, eggnog. So eggnog, and I used the amber rum for the eggnog. And so we did 500 drinks,
Some happy
guys.
shoppers.
And so
Happy
and then-
shoppers.
And then I did. This is funny. I did whipped cream on top and a little bit of cinnamon and two straws. We did 500 9-ounce drinks. This is I couldn't believe it. And people they're like, this is great. But the best part about the Nebraska Furniture Mart deal is the guy that was playing Santa Claus. He did a good job. He did fine. But there was a
Sounds
guy.
like it.
There was a
Bad
guy.
Santa.
There was a guy that was the Grinch. Well, he got sick, or he had the flu,
shit.
He had
and then
too
they
many.
said, "You're going home. You can't be here around kids. You got the flu. You puked in the front deal, whatever. You're going home." And they ran out of hot chocolate, so we were the only drink. But I have Nuke in it. I have liquor.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, you can't. No way. It's like, can my kid have some of this? No. So it is.
I have to tell you no, but if you want to give it yourself.
So it was
Hilarious.
fun, but yeah, the different drinks and everything was fun. But the rum was a hit, and I don't know where we went with on that one, but there you go.
Oh, it's fantastic. No, it reminds me of that Billy Bob Thornton movie, right? Bad
Yeah.
Santa. But you
Yeah.
got that actual Grinch was in there.
Yeah, he got sick, but it was neat the amount of people that came out to us, and I didn't think it was that big. It was going
I
to be that
bet
big of a deal,
they
but
sold the hell out of couches.
I think we
Oh,
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet their numbers.
bet-
People are wasted
I bet
and
they
just
set
being
new
like,
records.
"Yeah, I want
I
that."
did put a little extra on top on some drinks, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they want us back for next year too.
Of
so
course they do. They
do.
probably booked
Boom.
you all week.
So-
Are you kidding?
I'd bring you back.
we
too.
are all in. I'm going to save this last one after for our veterans.
Yeah,
we
but
always-
okay. So we were talking about the 4 being in the barrel, like the char, right?
so yeah, the chart number 4.
So it has to sit. You said for how long?
So to be classified as a bourbon, it's got to be
6?
in there for more than 2 years.
2 years. Okay,
So
but this
we
was aged.
we
for
have
6.
6, and then
Okay.
the Omaha Beach is around 7.
Okay, and the first one we took was the beach.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Actually,
It's
no, the first one was a 12-year rye.
That was
Oh,
the rye,
duh,
yeah.
that
This
was
is
the
this
rye.
is the Omaha
Okay.
Beach right here.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
The Omaha Beach, we have our bourbon, plus we have 99% sweet corn that our barrels we add to it. That's what makes the Omaha Beach.
Okay.
And then the age is around 7 years old. So this right here, this last, even though the 12-year, my 12-year was so good. I love that.
It's-
This is a treat. You're going to like this a lot.
So the rest of the ownership in this company are those gentlemen or ladies around here as well?
So yeah, we have a friend of ours that's an investor in Memphis.
Okay.
We have some doctors. We have some people that are local in Gretna. Jeff Haddon, who is the founder of this deal, I told him to come out here, and he's like, Rich, you got this. You
You got it. Yeah,
And I was like, okay. So, but yeah, there's a few investors all together, and people always ask about, hey, can I invest in the company? I think that we pretty much have enough what we have, and
Sure, yeah.
there's always people. It'd be nice to get a few more, but then you dilute everything.
Yeah.
Right.
But who knows about selling? This is a company that could be sold down the road. I mean, we're in all these APHIS locations, the Army Air Force Exchange Service, and NEXCOM, the Navy Marine Corps Exchange Service. So we're in a bunch of bases. So who knows who will see
Right,
this and
yeah.
we will go, wow, this could be something I might want to own. A Gallo Wines, MGP. There's a lot of different companies out there that might purchase this thing up. Who knows?
I mean, as long as you stay true to your core,
Yeah.
right? I think giving back the product, I think you could go so many different directions.
Yeah, just keep on working hard. Like High V's, I'm local here right now, and then I'm going to be in Texas here next week. But just going to the High V's and talking to the managers, and it's neat to sell bottles in the aisle when a young lady comes up and she's looking at Svedka or she's looking at some other
Yeah,
brand,
yeah.
and I'm like, hey, you should really look at this right here. And by the way, if you buy a bottle, I got some T-shirts. Well, I'll bring some T-shirts in for you and your girlfriends, and they're like, done deal. And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works
So
out.
a lot
That's,
of-
and that's that grassroots thing with something local.
And it's neat too, like wine, beer, and spirits around Christmas and New Year's. People wearing this shirt's old, but people are wearing the same shirt, and people are like, oh, look at this, we're like twins. And I get you do a high five with them, and
Right.
I'm like, hey, you're wearing the same shirt as me, sweet.
I mean, I see a lot of things happen because I feel like we're grassroots with common folk.
Absolutely,
And we're
yeah.
about to turn
Yeah.
2 years old. And how many people we talk to, bring up Soldier Valley.
We
A lot.
We hear
comes
about
up,
it all the
It
time.
comes
Yes.
up on the pod. It comes up. Jeff Molnick's we're talking about. A friend of ours who's been on the show a couple of times. He's like, I mean it, you guys. You guys got to get out there. I mean, it's just, and it's nothing forced.
And
It's like grassroots.
I love that made in America.
Yeah.
Made
Yeah.
in his blinds. He could have those blinds made in wherever, but made in America. He's super proud of that. And Mullinex is a good guy. Like we talked about earlier. I talk to him like every other day. It seems like, and he'll call. Hey,
It's his man crush, Andy.
Did you catch any fish? And I'm like, I said, Mullinex, it was 50 degrees below zero on Saturday for tournament day. I took my card. By the way, I was 150 someplace. I took my card with my number on it, number 18, and just took it and went right in the basket. There's no way I'm going to fish out and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
but it was nice he was checking on me.
Yeah.
So outside of this is your work. This is your job. You're a big outdoorsman from the sounds of it.
Yes.
Hunting.
Your favorite thing to do.
Growing up, West Point, Nebraska is where my grandparents' farm was at. Growing up, shooting squirrels and just starting off. And I remember second grade, the teacher, I think her name was Mrs. Brown, I think. She goes, well, what did everybody do over the weekend? And I was like, well, I shot a squirrel. My grandma put it in a pressure cooker and we ate it. And then she said, don't you lie. Don't you lie to the class. And I'm like, no shit. That's what we did.
That's what we did.
It's kind of funny. And then, the duck and goose hunting at Westside High School in 1988-89 is when I graduated. We had shotguns and shotgun shells and guns in our cars.
Yeah.
And now it's a whole different deal. But we would leave Westside High School and drive all the way to Two Rivers and hunt ducks. And back then it was two. You could get 2 Drake mallards, and we would work our asses off for those 2 Drake mallards. But it was a passion. And then growing into being a guide for Cabela's and doing all that, I'm actually going to Mexico here in a couple weeks. And there's an outfitter that's down there. I'm going with my buddy Jim Riley, who was with Cabela's Outdoors Adventures. And so we're going to go there, check out a hunting property. It's around, to hunt at these places, it's about $4,000 or $4,200 for a 3-day hunt deal.
Okay.
So this is not cheap at all,
Yeah.
but it's neat to go down there and check out these properties and go, listen, Jim gives this stamp of approval. You need to go. Kind of like when we went to Kodiak Island this is a couple years ago have you been there?
No.
You got Alaska.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. We caught more fish, and I brought home 100 pounds of halibut, lingcod, you name it, salmon. They all came home with us, and it was still frozen because we went from Alaska to Chicago to Omaha. When we got back, it was still frozen. I mean, it was
Wow.
unbelievable. But the food was great, but this is cool too. It's 11 something at night, and the sun is still up.
Yeah.
See, that would be
Alaska.
crazy to see. Like, you've been to Alaska.
No, I haven't been to Alaska.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. But I'm like, we always, we have girls and we have a son, and they're always talking about going to Alaska, and our boy wants to go, fish and whatever. I'm like, someday,
Canada,
Yeah.
the Northern Lights. I remember we went out of our cabin. This was in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. We were hunting Canada geese there. And I went outside of the cabin that we're at. And I looked outside, and the Northern Lights, it was like heavenly. It was something,
It's something else, isn't it? It's so
I
amazing.
didn't know what to think. I'm like, this is the neatest thing. Holy cow.
Yeah, I used to go to Canada every June, right? And we got this one lodge on this lake in Ontario, Kenora. And it just happened to have just a perfect vista over the lake. And everyone was in for that because we fish hard. It's fun, it's vacation, but we fish hard. We party hard, And everyone's all passed out, and we're all in our bunks. And my nephew, he had to have been like 10, maybe 11 at the time, maybe 8 years old, something like that. And he goes, Grandpa, what's those funny dancing lights in the sky? And everyone just whoom, jumped out of their beds
really?
and ran out
man.
to the deck. They were and it was just one of those nights where they're just like dancing on top of you.
Really?
It's I don't know. How do you describe it? They're just amazing to see.
Yeah, it's something I was in awe. And then a couple of the guys who were with, they're like, oh, that's nothing, And I'm like,
They're used to
I'm
it.
from Nebraska. I've never
Look at
seen
this.
that
Yeah.
before.
they're turning green and into purple and just like dancing, just like, oh my God.
And then I did a pheasant hunting deal with Pinnacle Bank a couple months back, and we were in Gregory, South Dakota, and this lodge is out in the middle of nowhere, and it was in one of those areas where there's not many lights around. So I looked outside, and the amount of stars that were everywhere.
Yeah.
It's neat to see. Like before that was neat to see the stars. I was on the USS Nebraska off of Kings Bay, Georgia, and we were way out in the Atlantic Ocean on a nuclear-powered submarine.
Yeah.
I never seen that many stars before. The stars were at the horizon. The stars were everywhere.
Yep.
When you look up at the sky here in Omaha or wherever you're from, you see a few stars and everything. But when you're in the black, those areas in the middle of South Dakota.
I absolutely love that you said that, Gregory, middle of nowhere, because that's where I'm from. I'm from Nebraska, but Gregory's like a half an hour away. And you're right, we're in the sticks.
That's why he was chuckling.
But the stars, it's amazing. That's other than home and everything, missing it all, but missing the stars at night, it's unbelievable. Like, people don't get it.
But do you get used to it, though,
I
Andy?
do get. Yeah,
okay.
I got spoiled.
So
I got
you're
totally
like,
spoiled. Yeah, of
all
course.
right.
There are rooster pheasants everywhere. I mean, they're all over the
that
place.
too. Yeah.
And there's a lot of wild birds, but then there's the pen raised ones.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite story about being a guide when I was in Winter, South Dakota, Ideal, with Star Valley Hunting Lodge, was a guy said, we shot our limit of birds. We'd like to shoot some more. I said, well, if you want to, I know a place. Like, how many more do you want? He's like, I'd like to shoot maybe 25 more pheasants in my group. I'd like to have 25 more. And I said, I know this perfect spot we could go to. It's in this creek area. We're going to go there. We're going to do this deal. So they got back. They had their snacks and everything, and they had their drinks. We loaded back in the trucks. We went out to the area. What do you know? These 4 guys shoot 25 roosters in this spot. And the guy goes, man, South Dakota, oh my God, this area is unbelievable. And you know exactly where those birds were at. And I said, I should know because I put them there about 20 minutes ago.
Oh.
Then that's the most honest South Dakota hunting story you will ever hear.
We've been down
That is an exclusive right here. I'm telling you.
So the guys looked at me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I put them there.
So is it Winter or is it Gregory that has that saloon that during hunting season, there's some...
Winter,
yeah. The girls come in and it's not a $1 ATM machine. It's a $2.
Well, here's the
Wait,
thing.
what do you mean?
Well, here's the thing. I got to tell you something.
I don't know.
These girls, well, this well, I was going to say it. These girls come in from Las Vegas, come from New York, come from all over the place. These adult dancers, whatever.
Performers. They're performers.
Okay, I thought we were going there,
They're
but
artists.
So
right, artists with a pole.
that's it.
Okay.
Those girls come from all over the place. Why? Money.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that's flowing through there. Got to remember, and I'm not associating this with anybody, but the clients that we were getting in was like Pete Coors. Coors owns the second largest brewery, or the second or third largest brewery in the United States of America. So Pete Coors and his crew, they flew into Winter. We took them up to Ideal. And, I mean, there's money. There's jets, private jets coming in from all over the place. This is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And so, we'd pick them up. And it was neat working that. The duck and goose hunting guide deal, that's a challenge. These are migratory birds that are coming from the stratosphere all the way from wherever. And the pheasant hunting deal, it's just a big party.
Fun.
And then
a lot of fun.
Those bars there, it's kind of like Sturgis. I mean, it's just packed full of people.
So
Is this like a certain time of year?
Opening weekend.
Oh, but that November, October. I mean, there's a lot. People come from all over the place.
Even I-90, like it just has its normal traffic, but opening weekend, look out. It looks like.
Oh, so that's
looks
where
like
you
I-80 in the
disappear,
middle.
Andy, in November.
No, I've never actually really got to do it.
I'm kidding.
And Andy, those bars, they have our stuff in there.
Boom.
So
I knew we were
better,
endorsing
right?
South Dakota for a reason.
Okay.
So do you consider yourself a pretty good shot?
You know what? The older I get, the more patient that you are.
Yeah.
And I remember back in the day, you'd be like all jammed up. And then I love this too. I did a goose hunt with some friends of mine, and the guy said to me, what are you using? And I said, this is my SP10. And he says, you're using a 10 gauge? why would you want to use a 10 gauge? I was like, well, if they had an 8 gauge, I'd buy that thing. But, it's the patient and everything. And then I had an old friend of mine, Dave Rack, who passed away, who kind of got me into the waterfowl hunting and everything. And Dave was like, the older you get, the more you appreciate it's not about the numbers. It's all about being with your friends. And even the ice fishing, we caught up in Mobridge. I told you about the day on Saturday we didn't do the competition deal at all. We already had our possession limit of fish, and it was just nice to relax and BS with the guy. You know how guys are. We make fun of each other.
Yeah.
And we have a great time. It was just fun to decompress and talk about. There's some friends of mine in Watertown, South Dakota, that we want to fish with, and there's friends of ours that want to fish with us in Bemidji.
Bemidji State.
And so
Shout out.
all these places, they're like, hey, Rich, you got to come up. And so all these trips, and I have 2 sons, one's 17, one's 19. I got to start getting these guys, because in the beginning, they were all so into their video games. You want to get them out of that element and get them into the outdoors, and even like morel mushroom hunting. If you guys ever want to go with me,
we're down.
I got a couple great places that nobody else can go to, and we have fun. I mean, you'll see me. I shouldn't even say that. Whatever.
We love morels.
You'll see me with my Coors Light. Like, hey, where's the Soldier Valley at? I love this. I drink it, but usually I'm out there walking.
I love that you love Coors Light. Yay, he's a Coors guy.
There we go.
There we go.
I will say, no one's made better morel mushrooms than my wife.
Okay.
I'll challenge.
How did she make them?
She bread them up.
She does bread them, and she's got to use those Keebler Golden crackers.
Like those butter crackers.
Yep. Yeah,
Like
the ones in the green package.
Mush them up?
Yeah, and crumble those. That's like
Okay.
that's one of the
She
key
breads them
things.
with.
Yeah.
Well, hit us up when it's time. We will contact you.
around Mother's Day, and I love it. It was Mother's Day, and Joanna, my wife, she goes, "Where you going?" I'm like, "They're out." Because you just know it.
Bye.
And I'm like, we'll see you later. We'll do something tonight. We'll go out, whatever.
Nice.
And so I left. I came back with a couple 5-gallon buckets. And then here's the thing, I don't sell them. I don't do it. It's gifts to people.
Yeah.
And there's a friend of mine that does them in sauces, and there's another friend of mine who does this deal where he flash freezes them, and then I just eat them. I don't save anything.
Oh, yeah. Eat them.
Eat them all.
And that's always but the outdoors deal, getting them outdoors. When I was working at Camp Ashland, Nebraska, it was the largest producer of non-commissioned officer graduates came out of Ashland at one time. I mean, it's a big deal. I used to have my set lines, which is a PVC pole, 550 parachute line, and I was catching catfish off the river, and so I ate a lot of fried catfish off of the Platte River, but it was my little hobby.
Yeah.
And so I even had an old sergeant major of mine. He said, "Hey, we saw your fishing lines on the river. You got a couple of fish out there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'll get them later." So it was just that kind of stuff. A lot of people teach this, and a lot of people need to get out there and the outdoorsmen catch some fish, a catfish or what have you, or do the ice fishing thing.
Oh, I love
Make
ice
sure
fishing.
it's safe.
I'm terrible at it, but I love doing it.
Oh,
eating beef jerky, drinking beer, and BS and like you're saying.
Yeah, and there's no mosquitoes.
There's not.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
I feel like everything that you explained there, with the outdoors, it's the camaraderie, it's the brotherhood, and that's not just guys. I mean, girls are involved as well. Morgan and I did a deer hunt the last couple of years that Andy helped guide us and put everything together, and we had the best time. That experience, that's had around the outdoors. You mentioned it earlier. You said it's not necessarily about getting out there and shooting something. It's the whole event. It's everything that we come back with. It's the conversations we get to have.
We've always,
And that 100% translates to things like bourbon. So it makes sense to me why you are involved in this company, because this is how you came up. These are the things that made you happy and that you enjoy, and now you're getting to do the same kind of thing, having a drink like this around a table with some of your friends and sharing those experiences.
Beer, bourbon, outdoors bring people together.
100%.
They really do. I mean, how many
Yep.
times have we talked about this on many podcasts, off the podcast?
So do you imagine that we're
Let's
gonna
do it.
do you
Yes,
imagine
let's do it.
sipping on this? This is the Omaha Beach. I'm gonna put this right in front of you.
Omaha Beach.
The Omaha Beach bourbon. So this is pretty much when it comes down to the greatest generation, to the people who jumped into Holland and Normandy and all of that and fought in Omaha Beach, this is to that greatest generation in that World War II canteen bottle. But you imagine after a fishing trip, after a hunt and everything, on the rocks, sipping this on the rocks and everything. And then, but this is what we usually do too, is I usually do a toast to our veterans.
Yeah.
So what I do is I always go, hey guys, let's do a little quick, salute to our veterans. Here's to the greatest generation. Here's to my grandfather that went up and down the California coastline looking for Japanese subs. That flag right there, that's the flag that was on his coffin. Carl Salanitro.
Oh, man.
I get a little choked up, miss that guy like you wouldn't believe, but everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
I have a story, what I did going into Iraq, or different people, and then the people that we lost. A woman by the name of Tricia Jameson, who was our medic at Camp Ashland. She died in Iraq. She was a really great person. To her, to all the veterans, a grandparent. I'm sure you had a grandparent or a dad or somebody that served.
Absolutely.
Here's to all them, but here's at Omaha Beach bourbon. But here's to our veterans.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, yo.
All right,
Andy.
Yep, let's do it.
Ooh,
That is so good.
that is good.
Very good.
So you imagine after a fishing trip with your ice and you're
Right.
sipping on that, or maybe if you're into cigars or so.
Yeah, that's what
we
I'm
smoked
thinking,
we
yep.
smoked these cigars when we were in Gregory, and we had so much fun, and we were all sipping on this guy right here.
Yeah.
So the 6-year bourbon, and people are like, "This is outstanding."
Yep.
So it was that much fun.
You just took me to that deck in Canada, right, in Kenora, sipping on that, smoking a cigar. We always have cigars up there, and after everybody goes to bed, then we can go out there,
Oh, sure, you betcha.
Oh, my God. You betcha.
You betcha.
What you about? What you about? A boot.
I love those guys up there.
You start talking like them in 4 days. You start talking like them.
One guy, he said this. His name was Kevin Rosedeba. He goes, "Hey, maybe should I say this story? It's not a bad word, but
Yeah,
he,
do it,
Oh,
he
you
says
can say whatever.
He goes, Rich, you got to watch out for a few of the bars in town. There's a few hooers there." And I said, "What?" He says, "You got to watch out. There's a few hooers in town." I said, "Hooer? What the hell's a hooer?" And he goes, "A bad girl."
So we got thrown for a loop up in Canada. He goes, "Oh, you're going to go there? Eh? Well, there's some peelers there." We're like, "Peelers?
Peelers?
Oh, yeah, those ladies, the peelers. They're the strippers. That's what they call strippers.
They
They call
call
them
them
peelers.
Peelers?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, peelers.
I picked up on yours.
had-
Ho.
Hooers.
Hooers. We had to figure out the
But, like,
peelers. It took us a while.
peelers.
Yeah.
I didn't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, those guys are fun up there. But yeah, I plan on. I'll be in Mexico here in a couple weeks for that hunt, and then I got a veterans hunt with some friends in Lake Texoma. I'll be there next week, and so I do work, everybody. But I love, I love these trips. But the fishing trips I take with my veteran friends, especially the ones I served with, we always have a great time. It's just the memories we all get together and talk about. We did an ice fishing trip at Devil's Lake, and we used a snow bear. A snow bear looks like a tank. But it looks like a tank, a snow bear. And we had so much fun. And those stories from my buddy from Paducah, Kentucky, to my buddy from New Jersey, my buddy from Sutton, New Hampshire, these guys have never seen anything like this before. And we laugh our butts off. But you're right, after that, hitting the bottle, doing a few salutes, samples to the fallen and people that we've known.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a really great platoon sergeant, Thomas Levesque, who passed away. We actually went back to Fort Campbell and refolded his flag because the VFW, whoever did it, didn't do that good of a job. But we did a salute to them, and it was all that 6-year bourbon is what really binds us together as a group.
I can see
So,
that.
what is can you pick a favorite? Or do you have a favorite?
My favorite is I really love that we got a great vodka. The vodka is unbelievable, but that 6-year bourbon, that's
it.
your deal. You're right here. This 12-year rye whiskey, this is excellent. We do in Fremont at Jack's. We have our bourbon that's a single barrel at 102 proof. That's 90.
Okay.
So 102 proof is outstanding. It's got a lot of heat to it.
Yeah.
It's 102 proof. But Jackson Fremont, they have a few bottles left. That's good stuff.
So then this is probably number one seller.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's it.
that's our bourbon
the
right there.
staple there. Yep.
I mean,
I've got-
I can't get over this
Fantastic.
bottle.
And, you
like,
know,
It's cool.
price point, you were on 40, like your high V's.
Yeah, I guess we should ask that.
$49 to $52 a bottle.
Okay.
With a couple bucks, and some change going back to like moving vets forward, helping a hero.
so is that a thing you can buy alcohol if you went through your website, or no? Is that
Oh, yeah.
weird with
No,
distribution?
so SoldierValleySpirits.com, you could go there and you could order our stuff online.
You can.
Yes,
Okay.
you can. And then because we got some people in Utah and I've never been to. Hold on, what state? Can't even state what. Yeah, Utah. No, I've been to Utah before. I can't even think of the state right now. Potatoes, Idaho.
Idaho,
Idaho,
yes.
Don't you-
Idaho,
don't you-
Idaho.
Don't you hate when you have that brand?
yeah.
It's potatoes. Idaho. There's a guy from Idaho that we get that's a bunch of orders to because we don't
can
sell
ship
there.
it.
Yeah, we
Gotcha.
ship it out there.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
It's,
didn't know how that worked with alcohol, if you can ship and all that. So perfect.
It's great. And here at the bar, I've got an old fashioned with
Yeah.
the signature bourbon. It's
I have-
killer.
I wish
You know,
I would
we-
know the name, but I feel like mine said Beach. What was it, Andy?
I didn't order yours.
Well,
Mine's the mule.
Yeah, that mule. That's great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna have
But
to have a
we
meal next.
use ginger beer with that too.
Did
So-
she top yours with it?
So this one doesn't have the ginger beer. In it.
Okay.
This one's without.
Okay.
Yep.
And I usually, when I do it, I usually take a big thing of orange, and I really put a lot of orange in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And then I love the gooey cherries. The really gooey
Oh.
cherries.
yeah.
Those make it even better.
Yeah, this is great.
So-
anybody that listens to us, we have folks who listen locally. We have folks who listen all over
the
country. Here in La Vista, they can come down to. What would you call this? What do you call this?
Our
place
little
here?
tasting room.
Your tasting room,
And
yeah.
today, it's not many people. It's a Wednesday. We sometimes we have a bingo night. We have people. I get it. The weather's kind of bad.
It's crappy.
But if you want to have a party out here, if you want to have some kind of work party or whatever,
yeah.
our veterans deal, this is a great place to have something. I've seen a lot of awesome parties here. We've had wedding rehearsals here.
Nice.
We've had here's a good one. This is damn near 5-6
baby
years.
shower?
Yeah, we had
Oh,
baby
okay.
showers out here, but this is a good one. So we had a bridal shower out here, and before that, the mom, who's a really super cool lady, she goes, okay, so could the male stripper, can he perform here? Where should we have him? I said, listen, I hate to say this, but we're all about faith, family, and service to country. I don't need a guy doing the helicopter with this thing and doing all that. I said, we can't have that here. And she goes, are you serious? You seem like somebody who's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty cool, but that I can't have that. Can you imagine someone looking through the window and
No,
some
no,
guy?
and he's standing on the bar.
Yeah, we can't have that. But I went
No
to
male peelers.
Was that a?
peeler. Oh my god!
Was that a? It had to have been like a bachelorette party.
It was
right?
a bachelorette party, and
Okay.
the mom.
Did they cancel on you then?
No, they didn't. But the mom, it looked like the mom was. I love this. The mom was more disappointed. It's like, darn it. Like she was really looking forward to, Cinnamon or whoever it
I bet
was.
she was.
Dancing.
Yeah, I bet she was.
Dr. John, it probably was.
Oh my God!
Wow.
So yeah, that's a true story there. And then, but we had Lee Greenwood here singing. He was here. We had a get together here, and then we had a lot of people. It's been fun.
It's a cool spot, man. Folks obviously can go to the website. They can come down here in La Vista. Where else can folks find Soldier
So
Valley?
we're at 20-some different locations for military bases. I go through them. There's a lot of them out there, but your military bases, your Army Air Force Exchange Service, AFIS,
Yep.
and then your Navy Marine Corps Exchange Service. So one of our locations, we have locations in Washington, in California, so San Diego, of course in Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida.
Wow.
Ohio is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which I talked about. 132 bottles we sold. Wright-Patterson's a great base. So yeah, there's a lot of bases that we're at. So you just kind of look out there for them, and then you could. A lot of these places you could special order at these bases too.
And you guys are probably doing a lot of stuff on social media.
We try. I wish we could get. I always try to put something out. We got to get more into that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, can we come back? Because I already got a couple ideas.
Oh, dude,
some really
fun
shows.
Yeah,
that
you guys are friends and family. This is great.
All right.
I think we've painted the picture.
Done. It's done.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, you guys are good folks. This is cool. I didn't know what to expect when we came out here today. Andy kind of set this up, and obviously with pop-up blinds and Jeff.
I mean, we knew it was going to be good with Jeff.
Jeff's
I mean,
a solid
come on.
dude. So if he says like, "Hey, this is where you go," then
Like
this
we're
is where
going to
you
go.
Yeah.
Like we all
Yeah,
align.
right.
Yeah.
So man, this is I couldn't have had more fun. Thank you so much.
I'm ready for
having us
another
out
drink.
We'll get you one.
Hey.
We're definitely gonna do that.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not saying wrap it up. I mean, we got a bunch on here.
So I told about Dr. Ken Brown, the gut check, his podcast. He goes, Rich, we're looking at maybe 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you go to the gut check deal, it's an hour and some change, and we just kept on talking, and it just kept on going. He's like, I was like, when do we end this thing? And he's like, we just kept on going. But it was so much fun to see him and tell stories and everything. And there's so many Army stories, or so many more things you could talk about. The outdoor stuff too.
Yes.
There's so many stories about that. And then the different stories that here's a good one for you. So look at a bottle like this. John Ayers, I served in the National Guard with him. Great guy. He passed away from cancer. I took off the label. I took it to an engraver. Chief Warrant Officer John Ayers and his service and everything else like that. And everybody took drinks of it. And then, from my understanding, there's a little bit left, and this was in his coffin. So I mean, there's stories like that. There's a lot of things out there. People doing salutes to their veteran with our stuff.
Yeah,
We do some stuff with. We did a big golf outing with.
We would through our organization, we work with a lot of veteran
Yes.
organizations, and this is the kind of stuff that we love.
That's what I was thinking of. Oh my gosh!
And I'm not going to put you on the spot right now, but we're going to chat about this afterwards. With our podcast, we have a bourbon that we have shots with every single one of our guests, and we'd be honored if it could be one of these. So we'll go down that road after and chat a little bit, because we would love to be able to hand that out to folks and have those drinks and tell those stories, just like all the things that we've talked about. So
if you love freedom, think of that.
There you
100%,
go.
There you
man,
go.
100%. So thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
Brother, this is awesome.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
great.
Did you
time.
ever get a blind?
Oh, for me, I did. I did. And
I had to ask.
Yeah, and then we actually gone up to Game Fair up in Minnesota. And I'm telling Jeff, I'm like, Jeff, here's the thing. I'm a sales guy. You need to make a bunch of these 3-man portable blinds. We'll go up to Game Fair. We'll sell all of them. He's like, oh, Rich, I don't know. I'm like, dude, seriously, let's get this together. We could sell a bunch of stuff and everything. I'm one of those guys, like, if it's hot, you got to go at it.
Yeah.
And we plan on going up there. And it's funny about Jeff and I traveling. He kept on saying, hey, let's have a contest. How many ice cream bars you could eat? And I'm like,
okay.
And he beat me at every game. And look at me.
He's such a competition guy.
But I was like, yeah, he's inhaling these things. And I was like, what's going on? And then it was funny. For music, I'll play 3 songs or 2 songs, and you play 2 songs, and so I'd play this and he'd play that, and we'd go back and forth, and I was like, holy cow, we're 2 hours away from the Twin Cities. That's how. Don't you love that when you're with someone and it's like time has flown by.
Right.
We're almost. I mean, Ames, and then before you know it, we were there.
Yeah.
So, and it was all about ice cream bars and listening to music, and then him telling stories about this. I remember this, and I remember the Boot Scoot Boogie at Guitars and Cadillacs, and this smoking hot girl says, hey, come out here. I don't know that dance. I don't know what it. And I look like I had 10 left feet. and she goes, what's wrong with you? Why don't you know this dance? I'm like, I don't country line dance. And she goes, what are you doing in here? I'm like, I don't know.
Not really sure. Drinking whiskey.
Right.
Drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Selling bourbon.
So, yeah, a lot of good stories.
Good.
Cool,
Good.
man. Cool. Well, this has been fun, Rich. We appreciate it, man.
Yes.
Thanks, brother. This is awesome. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
100%. Looking forward to maybe doing something like this again.
Yeah.
For sure.
We could do this morale mushroom hunting.
Oh,
Yep,
there we
100%
go.
down with
We're on
that.
it.
You match.
All right.
100%.
Sounds good.
You guys got anything else?
That sounds good.
All right.
Let's shut her
peace.
down.
Later.
Thank you.